Alright, so we are going to listen to this topic here. I don't know, they are talking about everything. That will mean Madlanga Commission, Kwanazi, PAC, ANC, BC, CHC, Mashinini, Black Wednesday, and all of that. So let's get into it and let's enjoy. Now, you've got these two guys there, a lady and a guy. That will be who is the guy? I forgot him. Guys, how can I forget him? And I was remembering him now. And our lady there. Let's just take a listen to this, and I hope you enjoy it, guys. Please like the video. You can subscribe if you are new. Let's get to it.
Some of the people are more informed than he.
You must have to. Who was implicated in July 2021?
Come on, I was never implicated. These guys, it was when Peggy Taylor said, I said they must attack them in their houses. That's what they said, because Peggy Taylor and my issues were. Now all I said, they must go ask Taylor, does he know anything about drugs? They must ask him. That's what I said, because many of these ANC guys, there were always speculations, but they were dealing with drugs, even in exile, the stolen cars, prostitution and, kidnappings and rapes. Some of their female comrades, they've been raped. I mean, there was a Square Commission which came after the Douglas Commission trying to clean their image. But for me, I think we should get into a wafa one day, disclose everything, and then from there we start all over, again, so that we know. Trust us with information. And that's why I normally say now, if there's a jungle oats on my table, I want to know about it before it came out of the jungle. But who owns it? What effort did he do? Who did he, corrupt? Because these guys, they are all over. I mean, if you check...
I'm deliberately stopping it because I want him to get to the question. Is it a good thing that the ad hoc committee in Parliament is running parallel to the Madlanga Commission, or to use just two devils, useless, futile for our interest?
Well, the public may still benefit, because some politicians, they will still ask questions that maybe the public can piggyback. I don't know, they'll be asking those questions out of ignorance or asking genuinely, but I see some of them, they asking questions to direct it, to a certain narrative, because they're trying to blame each other. That's why they will be asking questions such as, those comrades, which political party do they belong to? It's like the same as commissions. I can tailor-make the terms of reference to excuse certain people, like we've seen with the Marikana Commission, where we were told the ministers, they are out of the term of reference. But for me, the commission is just, waste of taxpayers' money, especially if the police, they have that information. They should just decide. I mean, they can't trust us with the information. We should sit together and with the prosecution team and say, okay, we are arresting this one, and then we execute the orders that people prove themselves in court.
Comrade Jackie, is it possible to even stabilize the South African Police Service? Because I'm thinking the reason we are here could be because the man could not work because there were political pressure coming on him. They would veto his decisions. He would request people. For example, let me give you an example. When he had problems with certain individuals, he went to Sholozi. Same Sholozi, I have a problem with this minister, this person. They are making it difficult for me to work around these things. Sholozi said, don't worry. Sholozi didn't act. He said, don't worry. I will replace him with someone that you like. Mshuluzi suspended Ntatsam Kwanas. And so these people always ask for blessings from political players who themselves have blood on their hands. Can subs ever be stabilized? And what would it take?
Yeah. You're speaking now, and I'm thinking of a cat and mouse scenario. You cannot entrust a cat with the welfare of the rats, because automatically nature will just take its course, and the cat will just devour the mice. When you say that Mkwanazi said to
Mshuluzi, yes.
I have a problem here. Mshuluzi, being the cat, was like, this rat is saying this and that and that. And nature just applied naturally. When he complained, there was a situation. They were making it very difficult for him to work. Given the fact that he comes from KZN, Zuma thought that he was going to just nose pick him and control it the way.
That's so powerful, man. She's right. Oh, she's right, man. I think there are people who think that because they are from your province, or maybe they are Zulu, they are Sotho, they are whatever, and maybe you are Sotho, you are Zulu, you are whatever, and then they think that because they have employed you there, and then they think that they will do whatever they will do. Those people will do whatever they want, okay? And unfortunately, they got someone very different here, which is Mr. Mkhwanazi. You know, he doesn't buy any face. You remember when he was testifying at Madlanga, he even implicated a person by the surname of Mkhwanazi. You would expect that, you know, a person will be thinking, yo, my surname, and you do some itagazelo lapha. But Mr. Mkhwanazi is not having any of that. I think politicians, well, they are lucky because every time they find people like that, people where if you employ them, they are from the same province, they get happy and you get the right people who are going just to do whatever you tell them, okay? Mr. Mkhwanazi was a different case. I don't want to lie to you. He was a different case. He is a man who doesn't take nonsense. That means he wants to do things straight. And I did say in my other video the other time, I said to people that as long as you are a person who wants to do things straight, you want to do things according to the law, you want to do things right, straight, no corruption, nothing, you will never get anywhere. They will take you out very quickly. That means it's either they will suspend you, they will take you out of that position, and then you are gone. You will never go anywhere in politics. That's what I've noticed, you know. And I said it, and I will repeat it again. If you are a person who says, I'm going to do things straight, follow the law, do this, when they tell you to do this, you are telling them, this is not in the law, we can't do that, and blah, 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 blah. Trust me, you won't go anywhere because they will want you to do what they want. And unfortunately, this time, Mr. Mkhwanazi was a different color, Baba. That guy, you know, I don't know, guys. There was a time I was thinking when was the last time we had somebody like Mkhwana, somebody who can be able to be smart and do things smartly. Don't just do things pupuruzeli. He was very smart with that thing of the press conference. Very smart. And also I will make a video, guys, and I will talk about, there is something that Mr. Malema did in the Heart committee which was very smart. And I will talk about that next time.
He wants to always find that he find a so-called very principled person. He said, I joined the force not to please anybody. Even yesterday or the past 3 days when he was talking about his history within the force, you just saw how detailed he was from coming from the college into being deployed, into getting in a Casper where people almost killed him, into being moved around the schools before, because he didn't want to mix with politicians. He just wanted to be a cop, you know. And now when you say to a person who is the chief honcho, you complain to him and you say, I have an issue here, please help me. And he says, I will bring in somebody that you like, meaning that I'll bring another cat which is tamer, that might not like eat you up.
Sure.
But what happens? He gets chucked out of the boat. Where is he now? I think that should the problem have been addressed at that time, and from Sholozi and whoever, remember, it's not only him. It started way even with Mandela. Yes, it started way with Mandela. It went into Mbeki and
Ma'am, where do you come from? I love this. I made a video. I was reacting to Mr. Mbeki. What I said there, I said, this problem that we have now with illegal foreigners, the problem that we have right now, since people are busy blaming the Tutula, this problem that we have now, it started long time ago. That is why for me, I don't even want to say anything, but I want to say, any person who had a chance of changing things, any person who had a chance of making things better, any person who had the chance of you could have maybe made things better for South Africa when it comes to certain problems, and they come back and then they speak in public and then they speak against the people that are dealing with the problem that they should have dealt with before. That person, I will never take them serious, because it tells me that the only thing you know is just to talk, but you are not doing. It cannot be, guys, it cannot be that people had a chance of changing things. And I do understand that when you get to politics, you become a president, you become a mayor, it's not easy, because you've got people who are busy whispering in your ear, yeah, do this, don't do that, no, do this, hey, I don't want to do that, no, you have to do it, otherwise we take you out. I understand all of that, all right? But all I'm saying is, if you know that it was difficult for you to deal with the problem, when people are taking over and they want to deal with the problem, don't stand in their way and make them look bad while they're trying to fix the problem that you should have fixed, right? The lady here says this problem of Mr. Mkona's, it started long time ago. Guys, come on. We cannot be people who are failing to see things, and when we see things and then we try to avoid them, we try to ignore them just because we want to, I don't know, we want to look good, we want to sound good, when we see there's a problem in front of us. Mr. Mkwanazi, if you follow the story of Mr. Mkwanazi, you can tell that Mr. Mkwanazi has been trying to do this, has been trying to speak to people, has been trying to report this to people, but people don't listen. What option do you have? The option he went to is the option of the press conference. You can come and blame him, making a conference, making a spectacle in the crowd. It's fine. That's the only option he had. He had resources and he had to do it before he leaves, because chances they might not want him there anymore. They might not renew his contract. Okay? So he had to do what he had to do so that he can show us what is happening. I love the point, man. That was a good point.
It's sort of a hierarchy. It goes like this. But now, I don't know why are we surprised now that the rot has gone so deep, because it started a long time ago.
Exactly.
There's no better snake in the snake family. Everybody is dangerous.
How can we stabilize SAPS?
How can we stabilize SAPS? Here are the cops that are saying we are willing to work. Get rid of these cats that are at the top, and get people who have the interest of the country in place. Let the voting system be changed completely. The 2/3 must be gotten away with, and let the people speak for themselves. And our people need to stop being sentimental. We cannot keep on bringing in the lion into the den, where we know that the lion is going to devour everybody, and say that because he is the king of the giant.
Say right.
I remember there was a guy from Zimbabwe, I think he's Rotendo, if I'm not mistaken. He was in the podcast of Penwell. They were talking about the land, meaning expropriating land without compensation and everything. Now the question was, what will happen if South Africa decide to say we are taking all the land and everything like that, right? Mr. Rotendo, he said that if South Africa wants to do, for example, what Zimbabwe did, right? South Africa must be ready. Listen, South Africa must be ready to face the consequences. Okay? That means any decision you make, you must know there are consequences. If South Africa decide, as per according to Mr. Rotendo, South Africa decides to say, we are taking the land without compensating whatever, there's going to be, whether it's economic or it's otherwise, but there's going to be consequences for that. Now, South Africa, before they do that, or before you do anything, you need to think about what you are about to do, the risk that you are about to do, think about the consequences, think about what might happen. Now, let me go back again to the topic that I touched on, the topic of illegal foreigners. The chances are, if South Africans decide to say, those who are illegal, can you please go home and everything like that, and then you can apply and follow the procedure and everything like that. The question will be, what would be the consequences of that? Are there going to be positive consequences or are there going to be negative consequences? My answer from where I'm sitting is going to be positive consequences. I'm definitely sure of that. We will, I don't know how this thing is going to go. I don't know if the government is going to take this thing serious and do what they're supposed to be doing, or what they should have done long time ago, and see what is going to be the benefits of this thing that you can even say Dudula doing. I'm not saying Dudula must go out and take people out, but I'm making an example to say, in the future, people, they will look at the systems in hospitals, in all these things. They will see that things are easier. Okay? Things will be easier. Mr. Mutwaledi did say, confirmed with his mouth, that our hospitals are overburdened. Some of you ignore that. You ignore these whole things that Mr. Mutwaledi is speaking because you know exactly what causes these hospitals to be burdened. But because you don't want to look at the problem here, you want to go around it and you want to avoid certain things. Why? Because you want to brush some feelings. Doesn't work like that, guys, okay? So it's very important that we look at things like, okay?
I want you to follow from where, and sort of supplement from where she left. Mkwanazi said he told Nati Mtego that, Nati, I'm confusing Mteto. Nati Mteto.
They're the same, you know.
So I told them, if you were thinking that you were going to bribe me, not here, it's not going to work. He said it while that guy was alive. He was not bullshitting anyone. He said it while that guy was alive. Ramaphosa knows. After these commissions, we now understand that Ramaphosa actually knows that Ndada Mkhwanazi needed support. Ndada shot it at all levels before he made that public bombshell conference.
You see, in a normal world,
What should happen to
You know, I'm thinking that when Mr. Mkhwanazi was busy going to these people, I am definitely sure that, okay, I'm not sure, but I'm just speculating. I'm thinking that Mr. Mkhwanazi would come and say, listen, Mr. What, you know, I've got a problem here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then maybe that person will call the other person, maybe the other one, to say, hey, somebody came to me, and then he says 1, 2, 3. And then the other guy will be like, that one is a problem. That one is a problem. You can ignore him the way it is. Because it seems like wherever Mr. Mkhwanazi went, everyone was like, it's a problem, that one. You can ignore him. But they didn't know that the time will come. And it has come, unfortunately.
a cop who stranded like that?
in a normal world, under this stress politic or separation of powers, the executive would likely maybe push the police closer to the prosecution, which is part of the judiciary. There should be separation, but we know that the separation of powers is not absolute, because even the judges, they are appointed by the executive, they are paid by the executive, and some of them, they'll be lenient. We need to find a way, I don't know how, where all these spheres, is it spheres of government, not spheres, you're talking the nationally, provincially, and but all these entities, separate entities, be it judiciary, be it executive, be it legislature, where they can almost have equal powers without giving the executive too much power to a point, where the police can determine their own budget, because it's easy for you to limit them if you're executive, to say, you know what, let us not fund them. And you see that their operations are failing, investigative, their laboratories, they're not, optimal. So this is the situation where we find ourselves, because Nkandla Mkhwanazi had to go to the very same politicians, to approve certain things. Under normal circumstances, the police should just arrest. I mean, you can't tell me, but if a police sees a person robbing here, he must ask a minister. Why must you ask a minister when one of you is involved? We should just make an arrest. Hence, these guys, another problem that they also started is this thing, a cadet deployment. Because you put them Guma intelligence, they start using the secrets, of the nation, as a political football. Like, for an example, when Arthur Fraser came in, Arthur Fraser chose something very small. Like for me, Phala Phala is very small. Arthur Fraser knows more about Ramaphosa. I mean, now if I was there, I'll set the bomb alight. If I was in Mkhwanazi, I would just say, you, Julius Malema, you, so-and-so, you, Helen Zille, you, and then let the public decide on their own. If you go to Nepal, let it be. For me now, at some point, I feel within this country, we need a waff. Maybe I'm too chaotic. Where everything is laid to the table, where we know the open hammers, they control this lake, where we know the Minel of this world, the Ramaphosa comes here, the Sakima Kozoma come here. We need something like that. I guess they've got that in the intelligence. Set it alight. Then let us decide what's happening, so that I know if I buy a brown pet, I'm buying a brown pet that belongs to these jugglers, because these guys, they've got companies, this company owned by Clearco, this one by this. So we need to come to a point where everything is just open. But unfortunately, people, they're going to release information bit by bit, depending on what suits them. No, I cannot unleash, on this one. It becomes problematic. I guess, like in Nkandla Mkhwanazi, he went to the portfolio committee. If he's got information which, is damning, it's criminal, why not release it? Why harbor it? I can say, even if they say, no, it will be explosive for the nation, you don't have guns. Well, what can we do? We'll just know, we'll say this one is a Jagalas, or we'll know the reasons why maybe Natim Teto get killed. If he was killed, it's not suicide. So for me now, I want them to disclose, like them. I guess they want other parliamentarians. They must disclose gifts, who's funding you, and that we need to know. But unfortunately, we are given information, as per their will. I mean, at some point, I lambasted the fact when the whole media and people saying Cat, he is a kingpin. I see someone with shiny clothes, and I see somebody with a spade, who pays the best weight. There's a type of there says, you can't tell me Mongol is a kingpin. Come on, kingpins, if you just know their names, they're no longer kingpins. These are ice boys. I've said it from day one with Pomatala, these are henchmen. We need to go beyond. And so let Mkhwanazi release everything to say, you know what, this thing is no longer about. No.
Okay, with your history.
What is the, I don't understand sometimes when it comes to the intelligence, and so the intelligence in my thinking is them being able to get information. Maybe if, for example, they are investigating, I'm just speculating, right? Investigating, and then maybe they get to people's WhatsApps through whatever machine, whatever sewer, whatever technology they are using, get people's WhatsApp and everything. So I guess when they are investigating, they can investigate, and then when they are done, they can keep that information, right? So, so in other words, they cannot like come out and say, okay, this is what it's happening, 1, 2, 3, and then you expose everything. Yeah, we've got your number, you are this, and even you release everything about South Africa. I don't think they are allowed to do that. Just like Mr. Mkhwanazi, when he was complaining about the other DA member, to say he released and he asked questions at the wrong platform and everything was supposed to ask it in the right platform, in the whatever. That's why sometimes you get where the portfolio committees, they will ask questions. And then the people who are reporting, they will say, that is not declassified, is classified, or anything like that. I guess Mr. IKE thinks that we just have to take a risk. And Mr. Mkhwanazi just, unfortunately, when he does that, it might come back to him again to say, yeah, you were in the intelligence, whatever, and all of that, and you made an oath that you will never release or you'll never talk about secrets. It's a tricky one, I guess. I think it needs somebody, I don't know who is bold, but I think even if the person might try, I don't think he will go far, because they will stop him very quickly. They will be like, no, he can't. They will go to courts very quickly, go to courts and stop him, and then he will be stopped. I don't know. I don't think it will be that easy as IKE says.
Of watching such spaces and the advantage of the career that you're playing or trade into. They know the big five. They know the big five.
Can't tell me that Bukete Bomkoti was at a big five. Yeah. Once you start...
No, but I'm using that narrative.
Yes.
Jackie, they know the big five. What are they waiting for?
That's why
I did not understand the answer of we are not yet able to release the names. Whose permission is waited for to arrest the big five?
Look, in my understanding is that when the investigation are concluded, they should arrest if they've got sufficient evidence or prima facie evidence. And then the police must investigate and hand over the docket to the prosecution team. Mm-hmm. And then they will decide, do we have a case here or we don't have a case. The politicians shouldn't be involved, but we know that politicians are involved. Like we've seen when Thabo Mbeki told VCP Koli not to prosecute Silebe, politicians do get involved. That's why sometimes I'm surprised when you see Charles Ngagula's wife sitting there. I mean, you tell me that Charles Ngagula was a minister of police. He was a minister. Another thing, you media. Nani nekandazini sirin pela I was involved like with TRC Puhundi. I know your thing is. Another thing. Yabona ukuthi iparle out. Basha media ke yabona kasona another thing ukuthi amarnani bafethi ngazenza lezi. Can't you talk like uJacob Zuma? Jacob Zuma keep on saying ngizokhuluma. Ngizokhuluma. He is even now rendered useless.
Did it ever happen?
I mean, let me tell you, so the Jacob Zuma people saying I get the chess master. They say
he's not a chess master.
But this is what they say.
There is no chess master there. Chess master go chele. So let me tell you, he wanted the chess master. When people saying the white monopoly capital, there's nonsense. There's no white monopoly capital. It's a Zionist capital that has owned us. The Dutch East India Company was a Jewish company. The company like British West India Company, all these multinationals, they control Europe. During the Enlightenment age and the 1400s, they came to South Africa, they went to Australia. They've been funding all these Voyager trips. We are not colonized by nations. And now these guys, they're hiding their footprint behind these politicians. They create pseudonyms like Jan van Riebeeck, a man who never existed. And then for years, for 300 years, we blame the people of Netherlands. They don't know Jan van Riebeeck. In Cape Town, there's no grave of Jan van Riebeeck. So we must get to the core. That's why I'm saying that these commissions, they must unleash so that we know who owns South Africa. If South Africa is registered as a company, we need to know, and maybe they must come up with the amnesty where people must come up with information, then we won't chase after them. But we need to know. But South Africa, when you talk about the big five, you'll find that those big five, but they are runners. What's the runner? What Persoff is a runner. You know, the guys who control us, they know themselves. We open him, I mean, your Rockefellers of this world. These are people who came up with even public education that you must all go to school, you must all go work for them. So unfortunately, you never get to the crux of that. You know, they will brand you. Motho ke ntseng skipa sa Gucci le bogoba Gucci le cap sa Gucci nkare ke Big Zulu. Ba bona ukuthi
Oh, you know, we just had an off-the-set discussion earlier on where I was pointing out the fact that Mikonazi, in his, when he was giving his evidence there, he said, it is said that what they are dealing with in SAPS is so deep and to the detriment of the citizens. And we expect SAPS to run frivolously without any challenges and all. But how can we expect SAPS to manage when the army is in tatters as it is right now?
there's no answer.
When you look at what is happening in the army now, with all the kidnappings of the people from ISIS, from the Asian countries, being kidnapped by the intelligence within the heads of intelligence within the army. Why would you kidnap a millionaire? You are an army man. Why would you do that? You are a soldier. It's because they are looking at their personal interests.
South Africa, there's no army. We've got these bandits from there.
And there's quietness. And when there's an issue with the police, if the police are not able to manage the situation, that's when the army has to be called in. What army are you going to call when you have all these ceases?
Before you come in.
She is actually right. I remember there was a comment in one of the ad hoc committee. Somebody commented and said, yeah, why didn't they put the task team in Cape Town and blah, blah, blah. It was a member of parliament, that lady who was very passionate there, going after Mr. Masemula there. She actually said, why don't you come with what can I say? I think she said, man, guys, I don't know whether it's the comment, I don't know whether it was that lady, but I think there was someone who said, why don't we have how can we deal with the Cape Town thing? The Cape Town thing, gang fights and everything. In my mind, there was one thing that came, and then I commented and then I said, Cape Town just needs an army, They just need soldiers in there to deal with the situation very quickly, and I believe that they can deal with it. Now, I don't know how long that will stay on, because you remember that if you do something, just like this thing of task teams, guys, okay? My problem with it stopping of a task team, it doesn't matter whether the task team has solved the problem. You need to keep it there. That is why even with the soldiers, even if they can take them to Cape Town, they will deal with the problem. It will stay quite a bit, and then that's it. And then it comes back again. Then what? We call back the soldiers, But I believe that it needs that, Then when she talks about the soldiers and say, even in the soldiers, it's just a mess. So who is going to save us in this? Who's going to be able to go out there and do the thing? It's because everything it's a mess. I don't know. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
The absence of women in politics, I want you to stretch it from exile days. We know comrades, Ike knows them very well. Lindiwe Zulu, Lindiwe Sisulu, who were exiled and then they got military training. From your Africanist movements, do you know of women who were in the trenches, who are participants of this organization? Patricia Dillon is one of those who we know. She comes from the Mazimbi. So we just want.
Guys, I don't know. Maybe it's me, but the people who gets military training, right? who are politicians who had a military training. My question is, what is the purpose of military training as a politician? Now, I'm saying that because according to what I know about other countries that had people, okay, that are leading their countries who had military training, they are leading their countries very well. I was checking at Burkina Faso, checking at their president, where he comes from. In fact, I came across a video that was talking about him. And then I realized that he was actually in the military. And then he went on and on and up and up and up. And then he ended up becoming a president, right? It seems like the guys that have got a real training when it comes to the military that they are talking about, they can be able to run the country. When you go to Russia, I came across a video again, you know, talking about the president of Russia, that he was trained and also he went through the same thing that the Burkina Faso one went through, military, trained and everything and all of that, okay? It seems like people who are like that, it seems like they can run their countries, you know, in a right way. I know you are going to tell me about the dictatorship. Yeah, they are dictators. Yeah, they are dictators, whatever, whatever. But it seems like, you know, when you look at Mr. Mkhwanazi, and also you listen when he was speaking about his qualifications, you can even tell where he comes from. You can tell that he also came from those lines. And you can see the discipline, you can see the moral, you can see this thing of I don't take nonsense. It comes from along those lines. I don't know, maybe some people, they just make this thing of military training as if like it's a big thing now, you know, if you've got it, and then people will take you serious. There are people who went through that process, I believe, who can be able to do the job, because we've seen examples of those people. But those ones that are claiming that they went through that thing, some of them, they are just doing things that are offside. And you are asking yourself, which military training did you get? I'm just saying, because as a military person who has trained from a military, and you got the military training, when you get to leadership, we are expecting you to be a leader that is supposed to be a good leader, actually, because of the training. Okay, I'm just saying.
An African's movement.
Yes, so you know how she has moved so many ways. People can't even tell you that she was a PAC. Because young kids don't know.
No, she was a pseudo PAC.
Yeah, so
Let me tell you the involvement.
prefer change.
Correct, yeah, before I correct that.
Yes.
Who Patricia Dinil? Who's this Clarence Magwetu, Benny Alexander? They come from this sellout position, yeah, PAC, who wanted to go to CODESA. They come with the Pan-Africanist movement to be the internal part of the PAC when the PAC was exiled. So they forced us, you know, I remember then I was the PAC at Shewell, to adopt the CODESA consensus. After, who's this, the lion?
Please,
No, it's fine. It's fine. After Zep Mutuping died,
Yes.
Zep did not want us to go to CODESA, but these other ones, we did that. Yeah, they even celebrated, but they celebrated the demise of Mutuping. And then I heard that they were toasting campaigns. Oh no, at least now they're going to go to CODESA, because Junet invited them to CODESA. That's why PAC was split into two, Amazamba and in the proper comrades. That's why the Azani, which the military, the youth wing, adopted the armed revolution. We called ourselves the revolutionary watchdogs. That's why some of our comrades died. You know, that's why there was a Karl Zimbiri. Zimbiri comes from that struggle, because we are opposing these guys. Brastif will come. I don't know which you're telling it.
No. Okay, let's do this. Brasif, Dula, because what I want to do is to respond. What I want to do is before he make me feel loud, because I'm
Chase at the sellout.
Yes.
No, the niggas is selling out.
No, but let's leave Jackie to answer the part of the. I want the feminine touch. But I want.
Okay, I think we will stop there, because now they are, I don't know, they are changing things, changing people, and it's all of that. Anyway, that's what, guys, I wanted to share with you. And I don't know, guys, what do you think about what they were talking about? you know. But at the end of the day, guys, please remember, whatever any person says, whether we are reacting to a video from a podcast, that's their opinion, okay? And whatever I'm saying in the channel, that is also my opinion, okay? Just like you will also have your opinion in the comment section, all right? So don't say, yeah, what, everyone has their own opinions, okay? That's how it is. And that's why we call it a democracy, freedom of speech and all these things. They are not just good words, but they are actually very important, okay? So thank you for watching. Please like the video, and if you're new, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can put your comment in the comment section and tell me what do you think, okay? Especially with whatever that they actually said, and also what I said. You can say it in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. You have a good day, and guess what?